What's going on Sunday?
All right, so Sunday, obviously on this program, I have a role that I play. I say the offensive things that everybody thinks, but they can't say. I do the silly jokes that nobody does, just for the sake of entertainment.
That nobody finds entertaining.
I'm the shock jock that you decline to accept as yourself. So it's a role that I play. But in the real world, yes, I own a pizzeria and I'm in hospitality, and that's what I do. But that's not what I am, and that's not what I'm passionate about. That's what I do to pay my bills, to support myself, my family. But really what I'm driven to do is change people's lives, to inspire people, to motivate people, whether it be through the pizza diet of education on how to eat healthy and make better choices, how to set goals and achieve them. So I took it all the way to the bodybuilding stage to become a champion. And so I started to develop my own concept of a motivational speaking seminar called Cooking Up Confidence, how to manufacture your own self-confidence from within. We see mental health on the forefront. We see it in pro sports and athletes. We see it in recent suicides that you see online, like Ellen DeGeneres and others. And no matter how much money you have or no matter what you have succeeded in achieving, we all have issues that we deal with internally. It's internal emotional baggage that we all have. And I've never seen a motivational speaker illustrate emotional baggage and how to separate those from yourself so you can still move on towards your goals. I developed my own concept. It's free to the community. It's going to be from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock here at the restaurant. It's going to be a combination of vertical training, which we've talked about in the past, of training sympathetic nervous system, stretching out your vertebrae, decompressing your spine, and teaching people how there's a more optimal way of working out to get healthy and fit. With New Year's resolutions on the forefront, most people fail because they turn to a drill sergeant type of workout training. They go to the gym, the personal trainer beats them in the ground. They can't sit down for a week. They can't move their arms for a week. And really what it is it's emotional trauma that's stored in the brain. And when it's reintroduced, whether it's a sound or a smell or a flashback, it dumps cortisol and adrenaline into the bloodstream. And you're never going to get results in your physique, in your lifestyle, in your goals, if you can't manage your emotions. So I train people how to work out in a different way. I have the ice bath therapy. We're going to have 3 different water tanks. We're going to have the pool here, which will be set at ambient temperature, at the outside temperature of the air. We're going to have a moderate temperature and a waiting pool. That'll be about 50 degrees. We're also going to have a ice barrel, which is going to be at 32 degrees. These are going to give people the ability to do cold plunge therapy. So in sports and athletes, you see in the NFL, you see players like Caleb, after they go and play football, they sit in ice tanks for a muscle repair, cut out inflammation, joint pain, right? But there's more to that. Submerging your body in cold water spikes dopamine, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for motivation, for personal goals, for achieving goals, to stay on task. So while New Year's resolutions fail, it's because people lose motivation. So by putting yourself in cold water, you can actually stay accountable to your goals. I'm gonna give people that opportunity to experience that. I'm going to give my story, my motivation of how I became a champion, from inception to ramping up processes, to formation of companies and LLCs, to replacing a hobby and a side job with your primary income. So the old adage of you'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do, right? So, and then how to scale that to go to passive income. When I lived in Brazil, set up infrastructure of how to work and live passively, where I had money coming in weekly. I had passive with my time. I was able to live in another country, live abroad, but still had freedom of my time. So I'm going to help people achieve the same life that I've built for myself. So it's free to join. I'd love to see you guys all here. Randy, if the game is a blowout and you're tired of watching the Bucks get beat on Sunday, then come on by.
What if they're winning by a lot?
Then come on by. But it's going to be an amazing event. I've been working with Tony Robbins, one of Tony Robbins' 7 ambassadors, Scott Goss. He's a local ambassador for Tony Robbins. He was gracious enough to let me come and open for him at a seminar I did a few months ago. He then invited me to a real estate firm up in Wesley Chapel to be a part of what he does. And what's great about Tony Robbins, if you know anything about Tony Robbins and the business mastery.
Don't look at me.
Well, his first, what he does initially is the first night of his retreats, he makes people walk on fire. He has them walk on coals. And people get there and they're like, there's no way I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. There's no way. People literally will panic and walk out. And then their people corral them and say, hey, look, you don't have to do it, but just watch it, stay for the event. see people go through it, and then when you see people achieve something you didn't think was possible, or even better, when you see somebody that you think you're better than, and you see them achieve it, and you're like, well, if he did it, then I can do it, and oh, if Steve can do it, then I can certainly do it. But then once you go through it, you feel invincible.
Isn't that a follower attitude, though?
A little bit, yeah, because it's inclusion, and it's you know, in the people, the motivation to do it together. I can tell you this.
Do you think? Hold on a second. You know, I'm going to be the negative guy.
Yeah, that'll be it.
You know, I know that you're going to love this. Could you foresee me ever saying that?
Saying what?
Oh well, he did it, so I can do it.
I think if
I would never say that.
no, but I think if you came for the 32-degree barrel, and you're like, there's no way, I'm not doing it. Because you know what makes that work is you're overcoming fear.
No, I get it.
People have extreme fear when it comes to heat or ice.
I get it.
It's thermal regulation and a core body temperature. So when people have the same fear and anxiety, and like, there's no way I'm doing it. I don't like cold water. I don't do cold showers. If you see everybody else do it, and you're the last man standing,
Zero.
You don't think you're going to get in that water?
Zero.
Absolutely, you will.
Absolutely.
And then when you get out of it, the endorphin spike, the dopamine spike, you're going to feel invincible. Like literally, you could accomplish anything in the world.
I get all of that. And I'm not saying that I would or wouldn't do. Like, I would never do the Coles. Never.
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 You would if you were at their retreat.
Never.
I would guarantee you.
I'll bet you money. I'll bet you all the money you want.
I bet if we do Tony Robbins, the power of persuasion, the power of inclusion, the power of support and moral support, like from the crowd.
Zero.
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 I mean, look when we talked to Hulk Hogan. He had just taken a job at a bank in Dale Mabry. And he did his first wrestling show, and when he went out, he heard the roar of the crowd.
Right, I get
and
it.
for him, that was it. There was nothing. You could never duplicate that in the real world.
I get all that. What I'm saying is I could never be talked into doing something that I don't want to do. I could never, just because a whole bunch of people that I don't give a rat's ass about, as well as some people that I do care about. You think I care if you walk on coals? Do you think you walking on coals would make me want to do it? Seriously.
I think if you saw everybody
Zero.
else, yeah, of course you would do it.
Zero.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you're doing something against your will, if you're forced to do so, it's like staying on a battleship for 48 hours and not be able to get off. If you're forced against your will and you can't do it, versus you purposely put your body through that extreme measure for health benefit, for mental focus, for clarity, it absolutely changes the outcome.
I get all of that. And I'm not saying that I would never walk on calls. Zero. Never. I could go and sit through all of your stuff, all of Tony's stuff. I could never say, oh, 42 people did it in front of me. I can do this now. Because I don't care if you all people did it. I'm just being honest with you.
So I mean, the airplane thing, I mean, when you went with Greg Jackson, like, you know, you were going to go through the jumping out of an airplane.
Right.
I mean,
Had nothing to do with
so
Greg.
what was the motivation to jump out of an airplane? A perfectly good plane with a good engine. What was the motivation to jump out of an airplane?
To experience it.
Okay. So why wouldn't you do that with a hot coal or ice bath?
I don't want to experience walking on hot coals.
You've
The
never done it.
ice bath I may do.
You've never jumped out of a plane, but you were motivated to do something new, to try something new. Because
True.
what if you do it and you feel enlightened, like you feel invincible? And that's why Tony's program is so remarkable, because once you overcome something you didn't think you would do or didn't think you could do, then you feel like the sky's the limit, like anything is possible.
I don't know, and I'm trying to.
And that's what 3 days of like the business 101.
I'm not trying to dump on your thing.
But that's what makes this so successful, because it gets people to do something they didn't think they were capable of or couldn't do.
I don't see any reason to walk on hot coals.
To overcome fear, to try a new experience, to
Ice
enlighten
bath?
yourself. And
Ice bath, I'll do the ice bath.
And you can do, and look, have you ever done a triathlon? Have you ever raced or done anything competitive, like a 5K?
Yes, I've done competitive things.
So when you
Jackass.
but when you do a 5K or a triathlon, let's say it's Sunday morning at 8 a.m. and you cross that finish line and you're spent. I mean, your
It's a
legs
great
are
feeling.
jello and the endorphins are flowing and you feel like you could accomplish anything you ever set your mind to, right?
Yeah.
And then you grab your phone and you call your best friend, your family, your kids, you're like, to tell them this amazing experience you just had, and guess what? They're asleep. Like they're still hungover from the night before. The phone goes to voicemail. And so what you end up doing is you end up in the party tent afterwards drinking a Mick Ultra and having a sandwich donated by Publix, because they're usually the race sponsor. And you're only able to share that life experience with the people that are in that moment and to just experience the same thing you did. So the fire coal for Tony's event or the ice plunge for my event, it's the same thing. It's all about the inclusion. And then guess what? you're a part of a community that very few people understand, that very people have access to, and that holds a different value for your friendship, or for your circle of friends.
I don't need friendship. I don't need a circle of friends. I'll do the ice plunge.
Okay.
I'll do that. I will never walk on coals.
Well, don't say never, but we may have to modify this event to bring some coals in. We have a fireplace. We actually have fire coals, so they will add a coal challenge. I don't want to copy Tony. I created my own content, but look, bodybuilding.
You have a better chance of me showing up at yours than Tony Robbins. How's that?
Well, I'm gonna invite Tony, but the bodybuilding
Not DJ
world,
Tony.
no, but bodybuilding in itself is a traumatic experience. You're being judged on your flaws. Nobody's going up there talking about, oh man, look how nice your biceps are, bro. Like, nope, there's no compliments in bodybuilding. It's all competitive. You're trying to win. You're naked on stage in front of strangers in an auditorium. All the lights are on you, and you're only judged on your flaws and your weak points. And so it's a very traumatic experience. But I can tell you from firsthand experience, the camaraderie that is built behind the curtain, the forging of friendship, because everybody's gone through that same life experience together, is so powerful that it connects you for life. And there's a mutual respect when you meet somebody that's ever competed or stepped on stage.
No, I agree.
That is the same in combat sports. Yep. These guys talk trash to build up hype, but once they go through battle, once they go to war, once they,
hold on a second. I was feeling bad that I was arguing with you, even though it was honest feelings. Now, because you use that, I don't care. Now I'm going full force. Derek Carr was just benched, by the way, by the Raiders.
Really?
Yeah.
But
he ain't walking on coals either.
But that's what this is. This is about community. It's about building camaraderie. It's about helping people stay accountable to their New Year's resolutions, because we all know that people are habitual habiters, right? So if you do something for 21 days consecutively, it tends to lead to a new habit. I invented the 30-day pizza diet because it was long enough to establish new eating habits of consistency and moderation. Most people, I would say,
I could have swore you told me half an hour ago this is like a 3 or 4 minute spiel you were going to talk about.
You said 20 minutes, and I was like, there's no way I need that much time. But now I do,
You're over it.
because now I'm motivated and I'm fired up. And the reason that people fail in their New Year's resolution, especially when it comes to weight goals, is because they haven't been with their friends and family since the holidays. They've cleaned out their cabinet of all the things that they love on January 1st. They start working out. The gyms are packed.
Who does that?
People clean out all the junk food, all the things they love.
Guarantee you I'll have as many Reese's in the refrigerator on Tuesday.
Then the 2 weeks in, they go back to the grocery store. Half the stuff makes it back in the cart from the first shopping trip of the year. Then by the time the Super Bowl hits, they've already realized that they're not getting results. They've paid all this money to a gym and to a trainer, and they're getting beat in the ground. They're going through this extreme pain. They're getting the anxiety build up every week. They end up calling off or blowing off the trainer, not showing up to the gym. That's why they get their money up front, right? And then the Super Bowl hits, and it's the first day that all the foods that they restricted themselves of loving, burgers and wings and pizza and chips and alcohol, are all on the same table. They indulge. They go crazy. They binge eat. They eat like kings. The next day they wake up emotionally defeated. They throw in the towel, and they're like, I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't focus. And they say, you know what, I'm not getting the results that I thought I would anyway. And they throw in the towel, and they go back to the same lifestyle they had the year before, and the year before, the year before. So we're going to break that cycle, and we're going to change lives.
Come out on Sunday and break the cycle.
From 2 to 4 here. It's free. It costs you nothing.
Nothing.
You bring your friend, open to everybody. That's it.
Awesome.
And so for the only thing required, bring a bath towel or a beach towel, swimwear, or a UV protectant, like fishing shirt or something, if you don't want to, take off your shirt in front of strangers. If you're dealing with self-conscious issues, bring something that's waterproof. That's
Was that directed to me or just
Not
other fat people?
Just you. I was just looking at
just
you.
Other fat people as well.
But
I don't care. I'll take my shirt off in front of anybody.
But if we've learned anything this year, like mental health is obviously on the forefront. This is helping people establish self-confidence and helping them use the same techniques that I've used to
and I compliment
my
you
own compliments, my own confidence from within.
I compliment you on all that.
Thank you. So because this is the life that I built for myself. It wasn't a life I was given genetically.
I know, because you were born a fish.
Well, I was born without lungs. I was a tadpole from a young age. I grew up in an aquarium. Nemo was my best friend. Dory lost my house out there, so I couldn't find out where I lived.
Oh my
So I
God!
came to St. Pete.
Your
start
contract has just been renewed because that was good.
No, but the
was
reality of it
good.
is, genetically speaking, I didn't have like the same upbringing. I was born ill.
He was a
I was
freaking
born-
tadpole.
I was born skinny. I had to build the physique that I have now that made me a champion. I had to learn how to set goals and create action steps to achieve them. And the same thing that I've done for myself, I can do for others. And that's what my passion is. That's what my goals are. Other than bringing comedic relief to this show and anchoring this program to where it will never leave.
You have held this show down a long,
And that's
long
why
time.
the photo from me in the Bahamas was in front of the Norwegian Encore, and it was a picture of an anchor and my two daughters, and it was just symbolic of how I've kept this show exactly where it is. So when I got back from my tour on the open seas in the Navy, that I had something to return to. So,
Yeah, I have to say, you have held this show down.
right here.
We can't move on and move up as long as you're holding us down.
But no, Sunday 2 to 4 here at 170 47th Avenue Northeast, St. Pete, Florida, at the Racket Club. It'll be a life-changing event, I promise you. It will. You'll have new, profound perspective on life and eating and nutrition and just how to survive and be in the real world.
And it'll be a change of life Sunday out at Raymond James as well.
So it'll be